of you. I'm not sure if to be concerned about Ricardo. We're all trying to connect. He's one of our guest hosts, so hopefully he's able to get into the room. Give me just a moment.
Okay.
Did you? I gave it to David. He's managing the owl laptop.
Ricardo, live.
All right. Turn it over to our host. I think for an element we're working on and trying to get the monitor here in the clan house so we can see everyone on Zoom. But since we're live, maybe I'll go ahead and turn it over to Colleen and okay.
Turn it over to
All right. I'm just here testing the mic and the video. Thank you.
Ready? Hello, everyone. I'm person that's wanted to do a bunch of emails for the past few days. Just before we start, I want to do a little bit of organization, just so everyone knows we're on to the numbers for giving feedback to our orators versus who our orators are. So if you're going to be giving feedback, so you don't mind sitting in this row right across here, just so you guys all know who each other are. And then, can all the orators raise their hand that are in the room that will be speaking? There, one. Perfect. Andrea. There's a couple upstairs. Are a couple upstairs? Okay, so I'm going to grab this. If you are giving feedback, if you have any questions on that, there's two options for that. You can either do it in email format and have the orator's name, and then just send it as an email to Colleen and myself, or you can do it as that Google Doc that I sent out in that email. So if everyone is there, and then if anyone who is just presenting and giving us some feedback, go in this inner circle, please, and then we're going to have orators either here or on the outside. As we get started momentarily, thank you guys for all your patience.
welcome to everyone that has changed for joining us for the 20th annual Oratory Showcase. I want to say thank you to UAS and to SHI for sponsoring and running this event. And again, thank you for sharing your Saturday morning with us.
This is a setup. Okay, yeah. No, yeah, it needs to be unmuted for them to hear us. We just get another sound check. See how it sounds then? The problem is I don't think I'll be able to blend the audio.
Right, that's always the trick.
Sound check?
But yeah, sound check, please.
Sound check, testing 1, 2, 3. We're really close, people. Thank you. Testing 1, 2, 3. Welcome.
We can do it without house audio.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
I keep telling myself I used to play Native American.
Yes, that, I mean, that would be.
And I played it for domestic violence awareness month over at SCF, the hospital in Oratory. And they said, you know, this is case.
Yeah, but those are
plays the Native
the
American.
album is
I was all lost up. Everybody says don't choke up. And I get up there and they say, no, this case you need. So I go up there and I remind you to say, I got this from
I think we might have to go without the house audio.
Are you guys still right here?
And then thank you for everyone for being here. And then I was like, you're gonna play my video there. I don't know, it wouldn't be that bad.
I wasn't sure, well, no, I just wasn't sure if I should bring like paper or like a laptop. It's easier to see on the laptop.
Let's do this. I wasn't sure if you were waving at me, so I was just like.
Yeah, we were waving at you and,
Testing.
oh, you got a
How
little.
loud?
Oh, my goodness.
Louder.
Oh, my goodness.
How did we go? Zero.
Good to see you.
All right, wait, one more test.
Testing, testing. Oh, that sounds a lot better. That would be great. Okay. How does we sound on Zoom? Sounding pretty good? Thumbs up? Okay. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna make one last call to anyone that's on the food and then we'll begin.
So, that laptop, you need to. Yeah. No, yeah, just keep the laptop. Yeah, right. Leave the owl turned off now. Get a mic check again.
2, 3. Mic check, mic check. Hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. We're getting very close.
That's the choice we could give them.
Got one more element to connect. Ready to go. You see a lot of anxious, excited faces.
This is all audio coming through the novel, I think.
Okay, maybe can the people on Zoom, can we hear you? Lyle, you want to say a few words so we make sure we can hear you? Or Colleen?
Yeah. Are you doing your speech?
You should be able, they're
Getting it up, that's Candy, check it on.
Geez.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Have to roll with it.
Okay.
I think we're ready to start.
We're ready.
Okay, perfect. I'm so excited you guys are all here. It's so good to see all your beautiful faces. Sorry about all the technical difficulties. It is quite a ride. Okay, Pasatini. Welcome to the 20th Annual Oratory Showcase, and I'm so happy to finally be here with all of you. Sealaska. I'm a sophomore here at UAS. I'm in the social science program, and I'm the student oratory coordinator. As you can see, Colleen and Lyle are online, and they're usually our main people for this event. But since they're away for now, I've been helping to step in and do on-the-ground running for them. I've been a part of Wuching this whole entire year, and I absolutely love it. And so this is an event that is put on by Wuching, and so we're so thankful that you guys are all here and participating. And I'm so excited to hear all your words. Before we start, I'm going to be doing a land acknowledgement. This was given to me by Ida, and it was written by Gune, so thank you for that, Gunish. Our event resides on the unceded territory of the Occoquan on Lingaani, also known as Juneau and Douglas, Alaska. We acknowledge that Tlingit people have been stewards of the land on which we work and reside since time immemorial, and we are grateful for that stewardship and incredible care. We also recognize that our event is adjacent to the ancestral home of the Taquaquan and houses neighboring Kadas and Tsimshian peoples. We commit to serving their people with equity and care. We recognize the series of unjust actions that attempted to remove the Occoquan from their land, which includes forced relocations and the burning of villages. We honor the relationships that exist between Tlingit, Kadas, and Tsimshian peoples and their sovereign relationships to their land, their languages, their ancestors, and future generations. We aspire to work toward healing and liberation, recognizing our paths are intertwined in the complex histories of colonization in Alaska. We acknowledge that we arrive here by listening to the peoples, elders, and lessons from the past, and these stories carry us as we weave a healthier world for future generations. Again, so we also want to make that land acknowledgement and then also acknowledge all the people that have helped us put on this event, which includes all of our UAS faculty, including Colleen and Lyle. And then we also want to make a shout out to the PETAS organization and SHI. We could not do this without you guys, and so we are so very thankful. We also want to thank all of our volunteers that came together today. We have Wuching volunteers and then also our volunteers from Aware, including Ati and David. We're so thankful for you, so thank you for being here. Also, we want to give a special shout out to Colleen and Lyle. You guys are absolutely incredible, and we're so thankful that you did all the behind the scenes for this, and I just got to take up that journey and continue it onwards, so thank you guys. All right, a little housekeeping. So thank you everyone for being excellent stewards of the Walter Sokolov building. Please make sure that you do not bring any drinks, gum, or food into the clan house. So when you're here, please just have your laptops and your cells and your phones. We do want to turn off our phones, the sounds on them, unless you are a volunteer leader who's giving feedback to our orators. So absolutely have those on, but just please make sure the sound effects are off so it's not distracting anyone. Upstairs we have Mboka Alupo food, so we're going to be stopping around 11:45 and having a quick intermission and a quick lunch. And then we also have Breeze in Catering as well, who are giving us some delicious adobo rice and coffee and all those really good things. You can take the elevator. If you go out and you go all the way to the right, there's an elevator. So if you need to take that, please, and you can go up to the second floor right above us. And that's where all of the food will be, as well as the stairs, which are straight out the door and then up them.
Okay.
So, of course, we're still in our COVID-19 pandemic, so please make sure that you're making sure you're maintaining your space, make sure you're not in the way of anyone. Obviously, we don't have 6 feet in this building at all times, but just be safe and please keep those masks on. Also, we've been having committee meetings for this event since January, and so it takes a village to put this on, so we're so thankful to those committee members. Gloria, our tech person back there, we're so thankful for her. She's making this all work, and Kai as well, so thank you guys so much. And then, without further ado, I want to introduce our MCs, our Eagle representative, which is Jill, and then also Ida Burge as well. So if you guys want to come up there, and they're going to be our MCs for this event. Good Chiefs, and thank you for being here.
degree, Native Languages and Studies Hi, good morning. It's good to see everybody. My Hikit name is Costine. My English name is Jill Meserve. I will try to remember everything that I just said and can get. I studied at UAS, where I earned my degree in Alaska Native Languages and Studies. I think that I was of the third graduating class, so it was brand new. I think was the second, so we're really fortunate to have that opportunity. And if any of you here have ever taken a language class with Kune, you've probably heard them say, you're going to be teaching this language someday. And for the longest time, I was like, no, I'm not going to teach, that's not going to be me, but I'm here to tell you, he's right. Because now I am one of the language immersion instructors for Hayukatangi Kudi, the immersion language nest group. Through the tribe, so yes, he's right. Just believe it. So yeah, like I said, I was a graduate of UAS. I earned my degree in Alaska Native Languages and Studies, and during my time there, I was also a member of Wichkeen, and I also have participated in this oratory event, so I know how it feels, and I just want everybody who's going to be speaking today to know that everybody that you see in this room is here to support you and hold you up. So just go forward with strength. A little bit taller than this. All right. Ida yuchatusa, kahela yuchatusa. Ganachti liya, yefnachatsiti. Mohak de chanayachat kajifkat kwandach. Agusas de kwandach. Thank you so much for being here. My Tlingit name is Ida. My English name is Heather Burge. I'm currently a term faculty member in Alaska Native Languages at the University of Alaska Southeast. Was a student at UAS with Costine. It feels like no time at all ago, just a couple of years ago, and I'm now back here teaching. Very grateful, very fortunate to be back here talking with you all, teaching many of you at the university, working with Costine and others in Tlingit language revitalization in general. Very excited to have you here. Participated in oratory myself, I think 3 or 4 years as an undergraduate. So I definitely empathize with the nerves that some of you may be feeling. But it was a really powerful experience, and I'm very excited that so many of you are able to participate this year and have that experience, have that support of your community, the feedback from our wonderful volunteers, our not judges, but the folks supporting you and holding you up in this, in your presentations, whether they be within your language or otherwise. Yeah, 20 years UAS has been, Wuching in particular has been hosting this event. It was a few years ago a competition, and now which in itself was very stressful. Now it's a showcase, still stressful. Public speaking can be intimidating, but everybody here, like Costine says, is here to support you and hold you up and really just love on you and are ready to hear your words. It's really important that you're able to share and we're able to share in this space. We're going to teach SHI for allowing us to be here this morning. Right, so we'll have, there'll be 2 minutes between each orator to let them transition from one speech to the next, and we'll sort of congratulate them, hold them up, celebrate them, and that'll also allow our volunteers to provide feedback within that time frame. That's it? Okay. Without further ado, we'd like to introduce one of our UAS leaders, Chancellor Karen Carey, to share some words of wisdom and encouragement. She's been at so many of these events, has been a huge supporter of Wuching and Oratory, and we're very excited to have her here. Chish.
Good morning. My name is Karen Carey, and I am the Chancellor at the University of Alaska Southeast. I am of Irish descent, and my Irish name is Kieran Ciarda. Thank you all for choosing UAS. We are privileged by your choice in higher education and strive to grow and improve opportunities for all of you. We welcomed opportunities to partner and collaborate with Alaska Native organizations, including Sealaska Heritage Institute, to grow our programs, increase degree and certificate programs and options. And today's event, for example, is underwritten by our PETUS program, one of a number of federal funding opportunities supporting this partnership. We applaud your participation today and look forward to another successful oratory event. And thank you to the event planning team and especially to Colleen James, who works so hard to put this event on every year. Gunachish, thank you.
Next is Ronalda Cantianti Brown as the Associate Vice Chancellor of UAS.
Good morning, everyone. I had to pause a few times because in looking around the room, I saw some people that were like, oh, there's my sister, or oh, judging through the masks. My name is Ronalda Cantianti Brown, and I've worked with the University of Alaska Southeast for 10 years now, and very, very proud of the organization in all of its labor and efforts. My Tlingit name is Antaqa'at Ka Kunach. Antaqa'at was a name given to me by my mother at birth, Irene Hunter Kediente, and her Tlingit name is Jigay. And also, I'm very proud of my father, Andres Kediente. He was adopted by Walter Sobolov and given the name Taka. In that single event, in that naming, my mother said she went to the event with her husband and came home with her grandpa. That's the name he was given. Dr. Walter Sobolov, Kajakti Tlinedi Dog Salmon Clan leader. I'm proud to bring his name forward as we are gathered together in this space that was built on his great legacy. Building is named for him, that we remember his many contributions to the lives of our people on this land. His presence is felt here today as we mark 25 years of this special oratory event. If you're unaware of who he was or the depth of what he brought and represented by Native community, that's your assignment, to learn more about this great man. What might it have been like for him to live and experience over 102 years of life on this land? Beyond a century of time, I was blessed to call him uncle. His mother, Annie Sobolov, Shahidi Shah, and my grandfather, John Hunter, Shahi Khak, were brother and sister. Throughout his life, he supported me, he encouraged, he was loving and caring, and I always appreciated the intense dignity and grace that he lived his life with. I have no recollection of him other than his looking at each of us in our family with his loving eyes. He was there for us too in those precious moments when we had to bid goodbye and farewell with loved ones, and for that I'll forever cherish it. One of the things that I wanted to share specifically with him was that he was the Nike guy of clan knowledge and living. And in that, I mean that he would be there to tell us, just do it. Very pragmatic, very purposeful in everything that he did. In doing so too, that was in support of healthy risk-taking, of doing your best, of standing up when you're called. You know, the list goes on in the legacy of his life. I appreciate too that he did all of that with such grace and love, and the power of words. Today, as you face this moment, for whatever readiness you're feeling, I hope that your broad takeaway will be to draw from your elders and tradition bearers with that same grace. First, appreciate that you step forward with your passion and interest. Second, that you know that you're in a safe space, that you feel our support and the support of your loved ones and those that care most about you. And third, that you have fun today. Tlingit elders were exceptional in expressing a sense of humor built on experiences, love, passion, and a bit of mischievousness. Find that internal raven within you and share your gifts. Ganalshish hawa, and I appreciate and wish the best for each of you to enjoy this day. Ganalshish.
Chish, Ronalda, for those words. Next, I'd like to welcome up Ricardo Worrell with Sealaska Heritage Institute, and another huge Chish thank to SHI for letting us use the Shuka hit today.
Chish. Betkoina aya Shungo Kedi Nachasati Chokat Kwan Kate Hiddach Kaudli Yayi Hit Kashishki Hit Ye Owe Kuge Ha Hitkli Ach Ishasawe Lucha Adi Hasati Achliku has lucha hadi. Akhtakanuchu ganakteri. Anyatkusani gunas chishawe. Adeyik duchanye gunas chish Yeyi Dacha Ka. Ho ho, ho ho. On behalf of SHI and our trustees, we want to welcome everybody to Shuka Hit. We are here in the new Arts Campus located in Heritage Square, and we wait in anticipation of the Kutia Dei, the totem trail, which will bring 30 totem poles along the waterfront in downtown Juneau. 2-mile waterfront will have 30 totem poles, and the work has begun on the first 10, and we plan to raise those first 10 in 2023. This is SHI's effort to make Juneau the Northwest Coast Arts Capital. The beautiful work that we see, the monumental art, these buildings that have transformed our capital city, would be just objects if we did not speak our languages, dance and sing our traditional songs, practice subsistence, and engage in our cultural, ceremonial events, bringing balance and acknowledging our opposites. And so the work that you do in language and oratory is bringing these objects to life, is giving them meaning. When I was growing up here in Juneau, we did not have anything to support our language, our culture, our art. And today, my grandchildren, my nieces and nephews, my own children speak more Tlingit than I do, and this is a beautiful thing. This is what the ancestors were calling on us when they told Sealaska Corporation that their hands were growing weary of holding the blanket of knowledge, the blanket of our culture. And so you all have an important role. I'm just grateful, but I also know it comes with a big responsibility, a responsibility of lifetime to carry this on, to improve it for our next generations. I see a little baby over here. Try to imagine the future for our grandchildren. I have to give special thanks to our partners at UAS, Sheila Judge, for helping coordinate this. Gloria Mary, you can't see her, she's back here next to Kai, helping with the technical parts of this. Dr. Carey, thank you, Gunachish, for being a valuable partner, and you heard her mention just a few of the significant programs that we have in partnership with the university. Ronalda Cariente Brown, Associate Vice Chancellor. Gunachish, thank you for being a champion for our people and our values. Gunachish.
Chish Ricardo. Next, I would like to invite up our Sealaska Corporation representative, Jody Mitchell.
Good morning. It is such an honor to be here with you all. I was so delighted when our chair, Joe Nelson, asked me if I would be here for him today. I don't often get to be at these sort of events, and so, and I am just so delighted. I didn't even know that this existed until a couple days ago. So, Tlingit, or Kainach, wait, okay, let me start over again. See how little I know of Tlingit? And I have to tell the story first. When I was in high school, in order to go to college, we had to have a foreign language. Well, at that time, the only thing that was offered was French and Spanish. And I ended up going to the University of Oregon and receiving my bachelor's degree from there. And in order to do so, I had to have a couple of years of Spanish. Entonces, puedo hablar español muy bien, pero no puedo hablar mi lengua. You know, and it's taken years to learn Spanish, so I can only imagine how many years it's going to take for you all to get to where you are speakers like June, you know, and Ricardo and so many others, because it's taken me years to be fluent in Spanish. And I'm proud of that, but I'm more proud of all of you. Tlingit Kainach Sechtin Yuchatuasak. My name is, in Tlingit, is Sechtin. My English name is Jody Mitchell. I'm the vice chair of Sealaska, and I'm also the CEO of the Inside Passage Electric Cooperative. Out there by the campus, actually, is where our office is. I just want to say, as we approach we are at our 50th anniversary now of the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act. So many good things have come from that, including you all being here right now today, right here, right now. These things would not have happened were it not for ANCSA and for the success, the financial success of Sealaska Corporation. And we are doing so very well financially, and it just really just warms my heart and makes me so happy and excited for the future of our people that events like this are occurring. And I will continue, as I'm on the board, to try to make sure that we continue to have that financial success. It was, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago that we put aside $10 million for a language endowment just for this very purpose, because we recognize that we are losing our languages and we need to preserve them. And so I'm very proud that we were able to use the earnings from that endowment to keep our languages thriving. And I'm just, you know, I hope that I don't drop any tears here, because I'm so excited to see what you all are going to be presenting today. But I just want to tell you all that I'm so very proud of all of you. I am so very proud, and I look forward to hearing you. On behalf of Sealaska Corporation, I just want to welcome you and thank you all for what you're doing to keep our languages alive. Gunas chish hawa.
Chish, how oikshin, everybody. All right. Colleen is going to talk to us a little bit about the history of oratory. And in the meantime, we're going to do some mic switching. So, Colleen, whenever you're ready. Chish.
Can you hear me? Good cheese. Tlingit Kainach Dak is at Yuchat USA. Yes, Nachatati. Gana Khadi How Gitland and Hadayafet. My Tlingit name is Dak Isat. My English name is Colleen James. And I am both Tlingit and Tsimshian. I am a Gana Khadi and also a Gitland and Hada lady. And I'm so honored to be with all of you today. I wanted to say a huge thank you. She has graciously stepped in to accept the coordinator position for this event, and she has done a phenomenal job. So while I'm away from Juneau, Sela has done such a beautiful job I just want to say thank you for your patience with both of us as we navigate this pandemic. I also want to thank Sealaska and UAS. Gloria Mary, our tech person, is on site with SHI, and I just want to say thank you for representing us, and to all of our leaders from UAS who are there at the SHI building. I'm really proud of our campus for accepting the invitation to host this event with SHI, and a huge gratitude to SHI for hosting our event. The 20th, oh my gosh, 20 years ago, in 2003 is when this event started. It started with Janice Jackson. She was the Native Rural Student Center coordinator at the time, and she had gladly accepted the invitation from UAA's Dan Henry. So the University of Alaska Anchorage started this event. And then in 2002, and after they worked out the bugs, they invited UAS and UAF Fairbanks to join, and we gladly hopped on the train. And Wuching is the group who took over Oratory and have been keeping this event alive. I just want to make sure that everybody is aware who's not familiar with our culture. Oratory has been in our culture and a part of us since time immemorial. And just want to say thank you to Dan Henry for bringing this culturally relevant activity into and onto our campuses. Since 2003, Oratory has transformed on our campus through Wuching. Wuching has been actively decolonizing this event, and what used to be 2 days of competition with 4 categories, Wuching has since removed the competition portion. All students who participate with this event receive a scholarship. It's no longer a 2-day event. Wuching said we can't handle 2 days. It hurts our heart. Public speaking is scary. We want to do a half-day event, so let's make it work. This year we had a committee to help plan this special event, and I just want to give a shout out to all of our committee members. I can't see who's all there, but we will have a beautiful thank you email, and we'll post it in the newspaper acknowledging all people who participated with this event, putting it together. But if there are any of our committee members, if you wouldn't mind taking a stand, or if you're online with us, if you wouldn't mind waving to everyone for just a moment. Go ahead, committee members. Technology is pretty important and powerful, and I'm just going to hope that people waved to say appreciation to me. So because it was the 20th anniversary, we thought that we would create space, this event, for 20 orators, which meant that we had to figure out how much time to give our oratory participants. And this year, in past years, it was anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, and so it was pretty loose. This year, we gave the students 2 options. You either were going to give a 5-minute presentation, or you're going to share a 10-minute presentation. And the thought behind that, while we know that oratory is some of the most powerful orators, there's no time limit on that. Sometimes oratory can take a few minutes. Sometimes it could take half a day. It just depends on the situation and what the oratory is about. In this specific event, all the orators have been invited to share what's on their heart. They have picked different issues that impact Alaskans or their communities. So you'll hear beautiful presentations in the language. We do have some translation offered in email that I'll forward out to all of our leaders. But I want to invite everybody not to focus on the translation, but to hear the eloquence of our language Our language is like music, and it will ping your heart if you allow yourself to hear all the beautiful sounds that our students are going to be bringing forward to you. Okay, so that's the history of our oratory. It started in 2003. It was a 2-day event, and now it's a 4-hour event. It might be a little bit longer today because of the technical difficulties, but we appreciate all of your patience. And all right, I'm going to share my screen here in just a moment. I am going to show our folks, our volunteer leaders. We have several in the Clan House, and we have a few here online who will be writing feedback, giving professional feedback to our orators, and all of these leaders that are providing the feedback are approaching the oratory as a relative. So to all my student participants who are participating, we understand nerves get the best of us, but please know that we're all here to lift you up. And now I'm going to share my screen. And, oh, not ready to share my screen yet. One moment. Okay. Okay. Let me exit here really quick. All right. So what I'm going to share with all of you is the form that some or all of our leaders will be sharing. Share screen. Here we go. Okay, thank you for your patience as I wade through here. All right. So here we have our form. I just sent out an email to all of our leaders who are providing written feedback. And I think, Sealaska, are you able to see if folks haven't received the link to the form? Please let Sealaska know if you're there in the Clan House. And for my people who are online with me, if you didn't receive it in your email, please let me know in the chat. Okay, so we have this fabulous form. It's a Google Doc that all of our leaders will be able to enter their comments to our student orators. Only I will see their comments if they submit it here. The other way that I've also invited our leaders to submit comments, because sometimes the internet is a little sketchy, and maybe it's easier to just do it through an email to me. You are welcome to do that. As each orator is coming forward, they're going to introduce themselves, and at that moment, you can write their names in the email, or if you're doing this form, we'll invite you to write their name right here as student orator, so we know who you're directing your feedback towards. And also, some of you, this might be the first time you're doing this, and I want to say thank you. This is not an easy task. What we're asking our leaders to do, our relatives to do, is to listen to their event, to their oratory. And what you're looking for is their volume, the rate of speed. You're looking for enunciation. You're also looking for what it is that they're addressing, what is the issue they're addressing, and if they've offered any type of solution, or if they've invited us to be part of the solution. So we're looking for those cues in their oratories. And we'll just be, if you also have some ideas or connections. If you hear an oratory that is relevant to maybe your line of work or your field of interest, and you have more information to share with our orators, please add that information in the comments. And if you don't get all of your thoughts caught in this particular sheet or in the email, and you have more thoughts or more resources that you'd like to share with our orators, you are always welcome to send me an email, and I will be more than happy to forward it on to all of our orators. And then down at the bottom, we're asking all of our aunties and uncles to please write name at the bottom. So for folks who are not familiar with aunties and uncles in the culture, we are all related somehow. To the Kagwantan people, they are not only my in-laws, but they're also my uncles and my aunties. To the Tekwedi people, they are my grandfather's people. To the Irish and the English people, you're also all of my uncles and my aunties, and that's why we have the volunteer leaders are being referred to as uncles and aunties providing feedback. So if you would just share your name in the form, you'll hit submit. Once you hit submit, it should give you the option to start a new one. So, all right. Coming back to you folks, let me stop sharing. Okay, so for my leaders, like I said, I totally understand if it's not easy for you to fill out the form, if your preference is to just send me an email in relation to all of our student orators, that's absolutely fine. And also, if it's easier for you to reply privately to me in chat, I will copy and paste it into a Word document. I understand that sometimes technology is not always our friend, and so we are trying to make it as easy as possible for all of our relatives who are sharing comments, written comments. We're trying to make it as easy for you as possible. Also, I want to invite everybody to not say anything to any of our orators. We have a fast turnaround between orators, and also we want to ask everybody not to applause. Please don't make any comments, not in the chat box publicly, not in the clan house. This is an event where we're inviting all of you to send all of your good energy to all of our orators and our relatives who are providing feedback, but to keep quiet so that our orators can keep concentrating on their presentations. Okay, so I am done speaking. Does anyone have any questions for me? Okay, I'm gonna turn this back over. Beautiful, gonna change. Oh, sorry, let's see. Oh, perfect. All right, excellent. I'm turning it back to our MCs.
Cheese. Okay. Very shortly, gonna go ahead and get started. For our oratory presenters, if you would like someone to stand up here and support you, Colleen James has volunteered to do that, so you're not standing up in this circle by yourself. So if that's something that you would like for her to do, she's over here in this corner. You can give her a solemn nod, or you can go and ask her before your presentation. Just let her know, and she's here to support you, so you're not here alone.
Sheesh, and Yuhan, I would like to just take a moment. As our presenters are getting ready, you might be feeling nerves or excited, and I just want to take a moment and share with you guys a little song that we use in our classroom. And feel free to sing it along with me, or what I would like to invite you all to do is, as I raise my hands up, breathe in, and as I bring them down, breathe out. Okay, and the lyrics or the words to the song translates to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Together, let us sing together. Again, this song comes from the old Susie and Jimmy puppet videos. I think it was like one of the little videos. So this is a song that we use in the classroom with our children. At gaishit lewushten. Dachtehin. Ik dich nas dag Cajun. At gaishit lewushten. Stuga hadati.
Egg and cheese. Our first presenter is Jinkasi Rose Willard. I believe she's on Zoom.
Charles Natcon Sr., Yudu Sabling, Ha, Rose Miller, Yudu Sabling, Ha Sheikh. I'd also like to take a second, Yakdushe, Arjunkasi, Hinudi Kiam, Huda, Kosubi, Hologan, Charles Natcon Sr., Dichongu Agent, Rose Miller, Dinabu Agent, Dudakshu, Hologan, Fitkastu Agent, I have both Shingit and Haida, and I always wanted to acknowledge that my grandfather taught me Haida, and I don't always offer that introduction, so it feels really good to be able to do it again. So thank you. This year, when I was told that the oratory theme would be Hapusti Yekeguch Sene, our way of life heals us, I really took some time to think about how that happens. And when I think about it, I think mostly about our values. Our oral narratives contain many things, mainly lessons, expressing our values through experiences in our narratives, sharing our stories that connects us to one another. We acknowledge our past, our leaders, our current leaders, and are creating opportunities for our future leaders to emerge. Our stories are so many things. They contain histories, values, and lessons, and explain the world around us. And I apologize, I'm not trying to tell you anything that you don't already know, that you may already know. It's just my experience as a cultural specialist in the school district in elementary schools. It causes me concern that the deep meanings aren't always recognized or acknowledged of our stories. First of all, oh, sorry, I hear myself. Do I have to stop? Okay. I can hear myself, so that just distracted me, sorry. I just want to acknowledge that I do love these stories, and I know many of us do, but I feel that they are sometimes minimized because the understanding may be perceived as mythological, and that's completely undermining to the rich depth of our ways of life. When it's not explained, the deeper meanings that our stories carry, it's lost or it's completely disregarded. And every culture in the world has creation stories, and this is just one of those these are just one of ours for the Tlingit people, and it literally seeks to describe the world around us. And minimizing the meaning behind our stories is very racially driven. So you're literally being told to see the story in a certain way, and when these stories are only used as children's books and not used as teaching tools for older youth or adults, then they're not really being used to reach their full potential. So for example, in the school district, we were learning about Raven, who released the sun, the moon, and the stars. Now, When it was originally introduced, it was Raven who stole the sun, the moon, and the stars. And I was just recently shared with that was a very inaccurate description of this story. It portrays Raven as a thief, and Raven was not a thief. He was a trickster, yes, but not a thief. Our values are always to hold our grandchildren up high, and when whatever we have, we give to them. And Charlie Joseph Sr. said, "Chutakda hadachkan, hakena peu sinup ha atushitsin, sukush tuyach dasa yatush ei at vijedi." Yet Badutiya Hadachkan City Yaka. That's Kahak. Charlie Joseph Sr. Kahwantan Shikpidaf. And he said, even from long ago, we had placed our grandchildren high above ourselves. Yes, we cherish them. Even those things we treasure, we used to offer up to them. Those things we gave to our grandchildren. And this is an example of how our oral narratives taught values. We value our grandchildren so much that we offer up even the things that we treasure the most. There are a few other examples of stories, and I won't share the stories, but the titles and how they connect. And these are some of the things that I have learned through teaching through the school district and elementary schools. And it's just a treasure to be able to work with these stories and learn from them, with them. Some of those stories are Raven Creates Solutions, and that's a story of adventure and discovery and mapping of faraway lands, including friendship and working together. The Ganakadate story is about the Tlingit study of fossils, which is in today's society called paleontology. The creation of the killer whale is a Tlingit study that describes the violent nature of this creature in its habitat, but it also seeks to provide comfort to humans. Because though it's a violent sea monster, it's never harmed humans. And in today's society, we call that, and the terms is called zoology. Kash Duar, the man of the Tuyi Bay, is a story that passes on the knowledge of natural disasters such as landslides and glacial calving into Duar, the Tuyi Bay. And that has caused some of the biggest tsunamis in North America, which has claimed many lives, native and non-native alike. So in scientific terms today, that's geology, just plain and simple. These oral traditions are rich and diverse, as rich and diverse as that of any literary tradition throughout the world. Many of these stories were told hundreds, if not thousands of years before they were written. And if you wanted to know about the scientific study of the stars, such how the Kik study story did in the story of Kafachuk, I just expressed to the kids, do you think that in today's study, the study of the stars, that an oral narrative could be retold, spoken as it's written in textbooks today? That's the retelling of a written textbook today. And the answer is no, I really don't think that that's a story that would ever be retold textbooks. So our people very carefully intertwine scientific knowledge into fun and inspiring stories and passed on knowledge to future generations. So for kids to acknowledge that our Tlingit people were scientists, geologists, zoologists, paleontologists, astrologists, is just empowering. And if a Tlingit child doesn't already know that, hearing that from a young age growing up, that is acknowledging our way of life and how it can heal us. But of course, I can't go without acknowledging Ha'ani, our land, Ha'adchayi, our foods, as it's so much a passion of mine. It's so intertwined in everything I do year round. Harvesting connects us to the land, there's no doubt about that. When we venture into new and historical territories, we learn and appreciate the land we live on. We wonder how it was to live there before Western contact. But harvesting isn't just about going out and getting as much as you can and bringing it home and putting it in your freezer. It's mostly about giving. And that reinforces the cultural values that a person or a leader is not measured by the amount of possessions they have, but by the amount that they have given away at a pu'ik. And it's also about creating bonds with the people that you harvest with. When we harvest, the best part about completing a 3-day fishing trip and 5 days of smoking and jarring our harvest is when you see the smiles of elders and friends and family when you give them the gift of your labor. And lastly, I wanted to address our histories and our migrations, and this is something that I've just recently started to invest a lot of my time in. with students in the schools. And we know, when we know where we are and where we come from, or who we are and where we come from, it guides us as we walk into the future. And as we learn to process the inequities of our past, the injustices of our history, when we really dig deep into our history, we can remove those blindfolds that have held us back. When we do this, we knowingly will not allow these injustices to happen again. And I'd like to share with you a few quotes. First comes from Kaush Mike Jackson, who's Bolshevik Haida from Keek Huan, the Cake area. And he said that when our people are fully restored to who we really are, it will be as though we have been through all time. The healing will be that powerful, that complete. The wholeness has always been within us, and we will live and breathe through our future generations. But it will not be easy though. The distance between here and there is a lot of work. And when I hear this, I think of the words of my grandmother, Rose Miller Pelican, who has always inspired me and guided me. And she always said, you can have anything you want in life, all you have to do is work for it. And that's just in a reflection of how we can move forward and we can learn these things and keep going. And lastly, I wanted to leave us with a quote that is yet to be said, and I'm hoping that it's a quote from possibility from our future, and one that I really pray comes true for my children, Anya and Kenshi, their children, and our future generations. And I hope that someday it's said that they removed the blindfolds of the injustices created within the Western structures. They saw the true strength of our people, and from that came the success and prosperity that they had always deserved. And that is how our way of life feels us. And that's what I wanted to share with you. Thank you for listening to my words.
I would like to say a reminder for our presenters that if you are presenting in person and you'd like to know maybe about how much time you have left, Heather over here will give you a 2-minute and a 1-minute warning, and if you're on Zoom, Colleen will be doing that as well. Next, I'd like to invite up Leandria McKaylee, Koha.
It's taller than me. Ready? She yelled, huh? that was my security blanket. Sorry. It's okay. Shiao Danechi, Yat Kahini, Yak E Yich Satini. Think it caught such chan, Stich Tuflatu. Kashaat ka kushek away, ach kuat latibuch sati. Shugaina yudu asak, ach suchkan kuat latibu. Ta'auk ach sayi. Tihu yak ana ut kenach yuchat duasauk. Guch na chatsati. Yan ma sha ayachat. Guch hit dach chatsati. Trap on chatsati. Suktanadi ka ana ut yadi ayachat. Hiksadi ka shuka khadi dachkan ayachat. Ashlich guhas shangukedi ka ana ut hasati. Ach kaniyan suchkan hasati. Ach tuwasigu iin ke akwanik itu latsini dat. Wasa stidinuk ilti fatke wae. Iit ge yan uaha khatsu. Ya yane wushtin. Ye Dutch, ye walk. Close your eyes with me. Yis dasekka. Take in air. Take in that deep breath. Ya kashauch. Blow it out lightly. Su. Yis dasekka. Breathe in. Klech. Dech. Nutsk. Ya kashauch. Blow it out lightly. Nusk. Dich. Tig. Ugh. It ye yanaka. Do it like I do it. Repeat after me. Chat latzin. Chat wusichan. Ya kitzige. Thinket ayachat. Yak thank you for doing that. Thinket awewa Ya kitzige. Itu yeyati. What I had you say was, I am strong, I am loved, I am smart, and I am a human being. Afterwards, I then reaffirmed you. I said you are a human being, you are smart, and you have it within you. Anawutz it atashiyi, krechwasa ute. Uchji ye inate. Please do the movements I do. Naskdahin ikit she. Naskdahin ingit she. Naskdahin ijint she. Su. Naskdahin ikit she su. Naskdahin ijit she. Naskdahin ijint she. Ikutsi. Anagwal sha. Anagwal isha kanech. Roll your head slowly. Anagwal ikik. Roll your shoulders. Yahweh. Now be still. Yeyisa dachun iatin. Name 4 things you see. Yeyisa nask at yisanik. Name 3 things you smell. Yeyisa dech at yiyashe. Name 2 things that are touching you. Yeyisa klik at yak. Name 1 thing that tastes good to you. Hwe. Audiga awe. Ye awe. What we just went through was methods that I have picked up from my teacher Shugaina and through my work as a caregiver and my daily life. What we did first was a guided breathing, something to relax yourself. And after that, we did affirmations. I had you say, I am Tlingit, I am loved, and I am smart, because you are. And then I told you it was okay to ask for help, because you need to hear that, and I need to hear that. And then after that, we went through the motions of tapping. That is to give you something to focus on other than your nerves. Honestly, I probably did it more for me than you all in our audience. Thank you for giving me your time. Thank you for listening to me. And I hope you enjoy our next presenters and the rest of the event.
Our next presenter is Gregory Frisbee.
Let me see it. All right. I don't have to get that close. The mic. Sinodun Hadon. My name is Greg Frisbee. I'm from Heidelberg, Alaska. Heidelberg, right down on POW. So is my dad. My dad's Yadas Eagle, and me and my mother are in Unangan. She's from the Pribilof Islands. She was brought there, or our ancestors were brought there by the Russians. It's a fur seal breeding ground. They were brought there to hunt seals for the government. It wasn't that long ago that they were made to hunt seals. My grandfather, John Melavitov, was made to hunt seals from the time he turned 10 years old. The day he died, he just stayed with it. Okay, I kind of got a little off track there, but my native oratory presentation, I'll be sharing my thoughts on how our ways can heal us. There's a lot behind that. There's a lot we can. Oh, can you not hear me? Oh, that's better, huh? All right, yeah.
Make sure to project and be close.
What?
Just make sure to project and stay close to them.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. I thought I was just speaking really quiet, but okay, here we go. Anyway, what I was saying was that the ideas I'm sharing are my thoughts in how our ways can heal us is through food, our traditional foods, and there's a lot of ways that we can be healed through our own traditions. I feel like I'm choosing kind of an easy no-brainer because we all become accustomed to the American diet. It is pretty bad for us. It's really bad for us. We really need to, I don't think it's as easy as just switching to our own traditional foods. There's steps. And we can start by just getting what we can. Salmon, deer if you can, fish from the ocean. Salmon being the easiest because they come up streams and rivers, and those are everywhere, especially here. We just need to begin by incorporating those into our diet, our daily meals, and kind of slowly work out a lot of the things we don't need, that we're not accustomed to. Yeah. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there for a minute, but I'm going to go back into, I'm going to start over a little bit here by giving a little back story on my family. Like I was saying, my dad's Yadas Eagle, my mother's Unangan from the Pribilofs. And they kind of instilled a lot of healthy eating habits in me and my siblings from when we were young. At least healthy to the standards of what information was available in the 90s. A lot of that's kind of outdated now. But it all comes back to just sticking with what we've been eating for centuries. And all of it's available here seasonally, year-round. And we just need to focus on prioritizing that. Salmon, deer, asparagus, and berries. We need to just incorporate that into our daily meal diets. Even though it's easier to order a pizza or microwave some Hot Pockets, we need to stick with we need to go back to working for our food. Just getting it too is good for you. Just coming together with family and putting up salmon, drawing some deer. It's really good for us in more ways than just nutrition. Some of the ways it's really helped me, like it helped me feel a lot better about I feel a lot more like I function a lot better when I'm eating my traditional foods. I can't even eat deer meat too late at night because it's too energizing. I'll be up all night. I won't be able to sleep. And yeah. But a lot of the healing that I've done or growth that I've experienced wasn't actually through foods, but it helped. My growth and healing was in our art form, practicing form line, and learning through that. It really inspired me to kind of dig deeper into my own culture and identity. I think that for me, sticking to our own traditional foods and gathering them, teaching my children to do the same will help me not only in my growth as a Northwest Coast artist, but also in everything else that I need to be prepared for. And I think we really need to prioritize our health and pass it on to our children instead of, no, not instead of, but we need to just prioritize their health and their future, and it starts with taking care of ourselves. Yeah, it'll really help with our healing process. A bit nervous, I didn't really. It was, but yeah, that's my thoughts on how we can heal ourselves and our children, just by doing what we can to eat our own traditional foods and sticking with what works, because what we're all doing now does not work at all. It's really hard on our bodies. We need to keep our traditions going. We need to go back to our own foods and just be healthier so we can stay resilient. Oh, well.
Hello, everyone. I would first like. like to acknowledge that I'm currently on.
Well, we got that. It's going to the live stream. We got to get it to go to the Zoom.
I just talk very, very slow. For folks who've been to Oratory before, many years the MCs were Keith Leash and Onay, perhaps more entertaining, if folks remember those, when those two guys get together. That's the guy, just let me know when you're ready. How's everybody doing?
On the traditional unceded territory.
Okay. Easy. Doing great. Everyone's done so good so far. We've got one presentation that'll be shared via recording. One more presentation before we break for lunch. If the guy, would it be easier for Nifka Kuge to go? Bien gay or nay? I'd like to take this moment to invite our 3 Wuchi volunteers, Melanie, Mackenzie, and Shikitz. If you can, go upstairs to the 2nd floor to the living history room to start plating up some food for lunch. We do have a fairly short lunch. We have 20 minutes, so the more streamlined that we can get that, the better. Cheese. Again, 2nd floor in the living history room.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you folks still hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, we can. Okay, very good. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen shortly for the technical difficulties that we're experiencing. Okay, here we go. Beginning share. This is Kaidu, our 4th orator. Okay.
Hello everyone. I would first like to acknowledge that I'm currently on the traditional unceded territories of the Chief Dry Goose territory, the traditional land of the Yellowknife Stemming First Nation on what's known as Yellowknife Northwest Territories. Skaidu Khatuasa Daklasha Alkhat Och Nakhsait Zati Daisling Kwan Hatzati, Klekish, Glekachenach, Yehuasau, Kashadahani, Kech, Judy Sagu, Late Dagnak, Senior Glekachenach, Pagade, Yuduasau, Kadijos, Glekachenach, Achik, Kashdaka, Yuduasau, Minijules, Glekachenach, Achik, Dukla, Skadu, Dusagu, Late Air, Graphic Jules, Glekachenach, Achsani. So I just introduced myself, where I came from, my home community, and my matrilineal line on my mother's side. And I did that to honor the teachings that's been passed on in my family. And since the days been honor matriarch-based, I single women in my family just to honor them and honor my community and where I come from, because they're the reason I'm here today. So today I'm going to share a story that was written and compiled through the children of the Paku Society based in Outland, British Columbia, and was taught to me using the Tall Creek method. But the storyteller of this story is Anetlahash Sam Johnson, and it is a Wodikash technique, so it's the molding head of the story. Wiku hard asnas hoop. Heyadak Kate Nabi Ayadak Ash Dust Ik Said Ah Dujiwu Wayadak Du Idian Uaha Aki Ak Idian Uaha Wayad Khishi Akwa Asabu Wayad Khishi Kuak Burakah Champugay Aki Creed Lepas, Akukai at Dukidi, Wake eight nadi Amshidas, Pink Ashpurhet, Wake Kuu, Wahin Aye Dabati, Wayadam, Kua Ta, Musiti, what a clash you has our song. When you doubt, when talk uhu ti. Klech tau shuna chich, when hin yech ke uachak. What a klach du ani ayandat la. Du klau padu ish amsetin. Du ish uan arch. Du klau taba Wa'ab wait up wahashi. Do say ik said amsetin. Do ish do hach yawa When you doubt kuch ayam the hua. When a klach is tach seti. Kain akanik me ade unei ye. Which away the end. So I shared this story today, the Wodiklach Shkushkashi, otherwise known as the Salmon Boy story, because it's a story that I really connect with, because it was one of the first stories that I heard when I was a little girl from my great auntie Pearl, Yudusagu, Tapacha, Lekach Pearl Keenan. And it's a story that's about a human boy who essentially he assaults the Salmon people and treats them with little respect. And in the story, this was called Shabas, which is forbidden and not allowed by custom. Because we as Tlingit peoples treat, and indigenous peoples treat the natural world with the highest respect. And to follow Hakusti, which is our way of life in the Tlingit language. Because this story, it speaks of our spirit world and the phenomena of trying to find that balance and collect reparation for the boy's insult. And so, since the boy insulted the salmon people in this natural world, he was turned into a salmon, and he had to live the life of the salmon to really understand where they were coming from and why you have to honor this other side that you know nothing about, but you have to honor them and hold them up, because in everything there's power, and in everything there's a spirit. And so this is my interpretation of this story, and I think something important to share is that every time you hear these stories, and at different times you'll hear them in different points of your life, and they're actual oral representations of our history. So some people have issues with our techniques being called stories, because sometimes it's interpreted as being a mythological story where it's not real. When in fact, these stories are actual stories that happened in our history. And that is something that we're brought up with, this belief, because we were able to talk to animals, and we were able to speak our language, and they were able to talk back with us and understand us. And so that's something, by learning these stories, that we're finding our way back to, and we're working towards building that connection that we lost through the attempted eradication of our ways of life. And so that's why I wanted to share a story with you today, because to some people it may just be a story, but to me it provides me a guidance and provides me this opportunity to look through and have a looking glass into our ancestors' world and our ancestors' lives and their words that can speak through us and live on through us, throughout their teachings of relationality, of respect, of reciprocity, of this balance with the natural world and living in harmony with Mother Earth and our ways of life. I wanted to share this story with you in Trinidad because I've been learning this language, my language, for the last 3 to 4 years. And I wanted to share this because something I've been really drawn to is Shkashnik stories, because they provide this look in, but also because they provide me teachings. And the more I get older, I look back to these stories that Hakutla, my Auntie Pearl, and Yekla Hash, Sam Johnson, and Keish Bessie Cooley told me when I was a little girl. And I got different teachings from them than I do now. And so I think that's something powerful, because they come to you at different points in your life when you need them most. And so there's just so many avenues that stories can help you, and then learning them in your Indigenous language. For me personally, I was pretty lost when I started learning the language, and even when I was younger, I didn't want to learn the language. My mom was a Ku'atlikun, she was a teacher of the Tlingit Yuchangi, of our language, and I just kept not wanting to, I kept being turned away, and something was coming up, but the language grabbed a hold of me and wouldn't let me go. And no matter where I was in my life, no matter how much I was struggling, the language always pulled me in and held me close. And I felt like I always had our ancestors there. The more I learned their stories, the more I learned their teachings through our Tlingit Yuchangi, because they had these healing powers that always showed me and made me feel like I was connected to somebody, that I belonged somewhere, that I was Tlingit, and I knew where I came from through these stories. And the more I learn, the more it opens. And I obviously still have a long ways to go, but I want to share with you that that even if you start to learn a little bit here and a little bit there, it unlocks so much more, and it provides you opportunities to heal yourself, heal your spirit, and to honor our ancestors' teachings of where they came from and what they did for us to live our life today. And so I learned these stories to honor them. And my mom always used to say that no matter where I go in my life, that language will always be there, and it has a way of taking care of you. So I'm going to teach Akhi Isa Akhi.
Teach.
Our next presenter is Nefka Kugeteja Revels.
Aunties and uncles, ready? Gunishish Hatyadi, Nelka Kuge Aya Aksai Ka Kekak Nach Taja Rebels, Yuduasak. Kakontan Nach Hatsiti, Guchit Ayaha Nakahidi. Taktetan Ach Dakunukhusiti. At Lord Rebels, Yuduasak Akla. Nefka Kuge, Annabelle Rebels, Yuduasagan Ashlik. Atu Ka Annie Lawrence, Yuduasagan Ashlik Uklain. Kwech Ish Ka Matthew Lawrence, Yuduasagan Ahtakunuk. Kuna Kawu Awayuhan. Dadakahini Utsati Akyakirti. Thank you all for coming today. My name and my namesake is Nefka Kuge, or in English you can call me Taja Rebels. My family is Kapontan. We are from the Gooch Hit House. My outer shell is Daktetan, so welcome all my relatives. My mother is Laura Rebels, who also carries the name of her grandmother, Gachu Annie Lawrence, also a strong Gooch Hit woman. My great-grandfather on my maternal side is Matthew Lawrence of the Daktetan. I had the pleasure of my family being from Kuna, but I was born and raised here in Juneau, Alaska. Think about yourself a long time ago. Think about the first time of your very first grief. Was it a toy that you lost? Was it a pet? Maybe it was even life-changing, such as passing a family member. Do you remember when your Akla, your mother, could save you from drowning in Itushani, your grief? Making it feel more like a gentle rain than a pounding ocean around you? Now older, we know grief can go beyond losing possessions, pets, family members, relationships. Atushani can also be disconnectedness from our culture, broken kinship, loneliness from our ancestors. This is a grief that grounds. Dark, cold water that takes away strength instead of gives. A weight that is too much to bear. An ocean that entices you to let go and sink. A cloud may be lost or relationships changes as we age. These mothers and our chosen mothers, their comfort changes as we age. Yet there's a changeless mother. Or language is mother to us all. Her comfort never slackens or ebbs. Learning our languages saves us from Pachtusha Ishani, saves us from the dark ocean of disconnectedness, from the loneliness of our ancestors, history, origins. Returning the strength and healing or aches from its weight. Or language is medicine. hahuhatangi, or language will save us. Owe chak kapekik yo hachwitani tunk, quick ish ka Matthew Lawrence, you do a saga and achtak. Many years before I was born, my maternal great-grandfather, Quick Ish, gave a speech thanking Naksha, Jessie Dalton, for her work in removing Hastutusha Ishani during the Memorial Gym Marks in 1968 at Huna. As documented in Hatuanagopias by the Donenhowers. Kishakachik, Nakyakati Hatyuchatangi. Do not forget, or language is medicine. Hakuchsenechi, hakyuchatangi, or language will save us. Hidat tuapsugu ushtin duch akahnikyuch hakutatani hahin. Today I want to share my paternal great-grandfather's speech. It's been many years since we've had Quick Ish and Nakhla here among us. Quaish, please today, may Quick Ish Hada, his words help you now. And may the words spoken in this showcase by all these beautiful speakers in Hahuhatangi or indigenous languages help you now. Instead of Nakhla removing Haitushashani, our grief today, as she did in 1968, let Hahuhatangi, or language, remove Itusha Ishani, your grief now. Let today's speakers and our grandparents' words float you up out of those dark, cold waters. Do not sink, do not give up. Our grandparents are saving us. Quick Ishpuna, 1968. Ah, Gunishish Aya, Ach Ish Has. Ach Kanigan, Yagal, Ach Ye Gukwat, Atuasago, Ach Gustatani, Yan Ashakahit, Yahakshach, Haksha wa Shakich Sakuti, Yahakuch Yeti, Yahaksha, Hakahani, Yahkati. Aktuusigo yata wachla yabu. Ya akutus bati yats ak. Ichet ichushani. Aya ak ugaguda gut. Akshahan today. An aya guchta gut. Ichet tushani. I yada ak. Kadua go on gabukut. Ye ish hashai today. Yes, this isn't thanks. My father's, my brother-in-law's. At this time, I would like to speak just for a short while. This mother of ours has completed everything. And what a great gift this mother of ours is among us. It is as if she is standing for us. I would like to explain that this thing we've been holding, this hat, it will go with your grief. It will go back into Mount Fairweather with your grief, with those tears which fell from your faces. It will go into your father's mountain. Shakat Yuhan, everyone, I hope you are helped in rising to the surface of these cold, dark waters. I hope today these words of our grandparents and of today's speakers buoy your spirit. Haksha Yakyati Hayuchatangi. Shinket is our mother. Let Shinket comfort you, stand for you, save you. Or mother gives you Yikoyuan, or mother gives you heart, strength, courage. Nakyati Hayuchatangi, or language is medicine. I hope these words and speakers today help this thing we've been holding, Hatuhe Ishami, or grief go back into the mountain. Hahuhatangi Itanachayati, or language needs us as much as we need her. She is a great gift to every one of us. Hahuhatangi Ta'ayach Itinach Shakayuham. She needs all of us. Every individual is needed for her. Disconnectedness from Hakusi is a weight we cannot let go of alone. Eventually, this thing harms us, has harmed us. Our language stands for us. This eternal mother of ours has given us a great gift. Our language will save us. Thank you for listening. Thank you, my teachers that I've had throughout my life and my language journey. To my sources, Nora and Richard Howard, Kune, Nathan Jackson, and of course, Dakunuku, Kwehish, Utwe.
Chishuhan, Idatea at Gachtucha, Yatsit Garsanat Hai, Hajit Hasawati, Reason, Klepawanet Kanach, at Gachtuchayas. So we are going to take a break now to get ready to eat. We have food for lunch this afternoon catered by Breezen, and food is located up in the second floor in the living history room. We will have a fairly short lunch break. We'll have 20 minutes to eat. So hopefully we've got plates all set up for everybody all ready to eat. Just grab and eat. Just a reminder that there is no food or drink allowed here in the clan house, but there are seats available upstairs for you to sit and eat. I know we say it's not a competition, so don't feel like you have to be the first one to finish eating, but we have 20 minutes to eat. So we'll convene back here at about 12:30. And there's stairs here, or again, there's elevators just over to the right, to the second floor.
Oh, I was just double checking to make sure that if I could see this better or this, my paper better. You know what I mean?
Recording stopped. Speaker is charging. Recording in progress.
Welcome back. Just for clarification, because we are running behind, for folks in Zoom, I posted an updated oratory order, but we're actually going to adjust that order to let Keith and Kune reply. There's so many things happening during this time of year. Competing events are happening, and so Kune actually has another obligation. So as soon as everybody finishes coming back into the clan house, our MCs and Sela should be encouraging everybody to take that last bite, the last sip, to come back into the space. We will have Kune kick us off with a response so far to our orators, and then shortly after that it'll be Keith and Ish. And this is just clarification for my folks on Zoom. I know that I posted a new oratory lineup, but that's already outdated because we want to make sure that Kune makes it to his next obligation. Teach for your patience. We're learning in this time, in COVID time, that there are technical difficulties. There are really beautiful ways to do hybrid events, and these come with some challenges, but fortunately for us, we have wonderful tech people taking care of us behind the scenes, and so hopefully it's seamless. I just want to say thank you all for your patience. I am going to mute myself, but I just wanted to give that update. Gonna cheese, Dean Wilson, for your comments in the chat. I appreciate that. We're doing our best, and I think that the folks at Sealaska and our UAS folks at the clan house, all of our volunteers are holding down the event so amazingly, and we're just honored that we can all zoom in. Oh my goodness. Okay. Thank you for hearing me. Thank you for your patience while we're trying to get as many good speakers set up.
Okay, Johan. So slowly coming back into the room, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So like I mentioned, Kune is gonna speak with us. We're changing the lineup a little bit. To accommodate some conflicting schedules, so Kone is going to speak, one of our OGMCs, and then Heath Leish is going to talk after him. A snippet into how many of our other oratories went, so if you haven't participated, you get some insight into that. So without further ado.
You can achieve the Katuhan. Shower the Niki. And yet Kusani. Asani Kokaya Wushu to the Ateya Yaki. Wushkitan. As to in Hasusati and Aya Chagudach Kaya Yadatsu, Wujin Hasati Yachtitan. Jayu Khatangeo Ho Achiayaki, Yachikas Chukin Shah Achish Kohas Dakaridi Achatas Yenwa Shah Akagwantan Ya Achunkian Dekina Hadas Hawatagwang Ya Hachunkian Sutskan Simshian Oes Nusum Johan So Nungach Atlinkal Chish Kakawe Kutzati Johan Kakawe Kutzati Take Git Akachaya Ya Hashish Kohas Kayawu away at the Chankisani. Wasa hatu wasagu Uchin Hasati Asu Khunahawe Autu As our Khiz Uchin Hasati Aya Itu Wadakhe Koti Ishatsini Tin Ak Khanach Kayash Ishayech Ajis Yayagi Ewa Adat Yutach Yayidat Hatakasa Kayin Hatakasa Kayin Wayadak Desai Owa Shanyakutach Shukwa Aya Aktak Zin Ye Owa Winadayin Yich Aya Uwak You tla ade, tla away. Ye away we had honey, or a shakawa jar, as to shut the honey away. But she ties a team, can I go to yet is pen, to yet is pen. Why away? Ye yakwatin. Ye away to Hayahi of sending. You away. Hatu Kaksaki. Yewa Hatu was a Katako, Hinakati, two Yai gift the Katuhan. Kashtasa Ayatli Kwati, Yukatangi. Kanahawe, Yihinach Yakwata. Chadu Sadu to us a cookie Kakshitsini away how Yukatangi Yakwati. Kanahawe Hachike Yatia that Yak Shukahit. Hochtekena Sachawe Hayukatangi. Dekina Yukatangi, Hatsuskan Yukatangi, Hochtekena Sach. Ye awe, a data were Hasawa June and Chap, Yahashik Kohas. Asawa Schoon. Hone, Astuchi Dachikan, says Ayaha Yukatangi, Hahakosti. Yayidat Koa. Chuaya we asked, Kainach asked our Kustian. At the way with Usani, One a Chibunak. Aka asked Hone Kutzati. Ask to Yahweh Johan. Kanahawe, Atkitai, Khat, Ushchin at Shat, Atangal Chish, Yigo Ayah one. Dei in Sati Ayashatsin. Dei in Sati Ayatisha an Hakrisachan. A joy Wuchinia Gachtiglak. Wuchinia Gachtiglak. Gurchish to all of those who have spoken here today. Ask for forgiveness. I won't be here for the full length of the event, but I'll watch the recording. We're on the lands of the Wushkitan peoples. Yechtitan, Kinedi. And it's really coming together on their lands. We thank them for their stewardship. There's a chasm. On one of the cliffs is our ancestors. On the other side, our future generations. How much they want to be together. How much we all want to be together. And because of you, it's going to happen. With your strength, you have built a bridge across this gap. I started to think of this place called Cyril George told us about it. It's a river that entangles a person's mind. When that young man, his name was Shanyak Klach, the moldy end of a fish collar, that's what the fish named him. His first name was Al-Qatsin. It's alive in a little lake, referring to a frog that freezes in the winter, thaws out in the summer, and just starts going around. It's springtime now, we're all thawing out ourselves. But that's the place he came to, the river that entangles a person's mind. That leader of the salmon people said, when you go home, you really just stare right at your mother. Stare right at her. Stare right at your father. They'll recognize you. That's what happened. My wish for you is that your spirit will be like the water that has settled and run itself clean. Strength is already with you. Love, compassion, kindness, these things are already with you. We overcome colonization with the love for ourselves and with the love for each other. We can put away the times when we used to tear each other apart. What if we just said good things about each other? What if we just held each other up? There's another quote from Charlie Joseph. He said, from long ago, we held them high above ourselves. That's our job here, is to hold each other up above our own selves. And then we're going to see the strength that our ancestors knew. We'll give it to our future generations. For that, I am grateful for all of your work and for your courage. You're already brave. You're already doing it. Don't worry. Our ancestors are standing there supporting you.
We'd like to invite Chief Lyle James to present the Eagle response. Chief.
Dewa Eagle Patangi is it. Eka Eagle Patang. Eka to was talking with Naki, Ish, Kawan, and أخي شخص يرتقط كتلتي أقوى وانسدي يكأي ينخش كأني يشتقني هان Isewa akti yukadangi ya ikiki. Au ya away his class has mushkanaku di yes. Ya testing ya han. Ako au ya away his class has akutani ya ikiki. Tango na chish. Ye yukadangi ya ikiki ega siti. Na Yahoo Stay Hulk akan iyan ertakat na di ko na cheese ya iya aka yake sa tini akan iyan ertakat panaktedi ko na cheese akan iyan ertakat na Hada, Dawa, akan iyan niya ipagtulunsan, simsiyan, ayak sa lulusan. Luang ko rin na kami today, I hear and I see how your ancestors gather here today. They stand by your sides. They see the pride. They see the strength that you bring to our community, to our way of life. I see how their hands are reaching out to us and lifting our chins up to say, Ikwa Yichkan. I hear their voices and I feel the medicine that is coming towards us. It's breathing life into us with every word that you folks share. Your words have weight. It is strong. For that, I say, goodness, Chish, Gahawa, Ayaksam, thank you for sharing the care, the love, and the respect that you have for our ways of life. Today reminds me of when Nora, Mark Stauenauer, came to our dance practice one day. And she said, what you are doing, we can see the pride in every word that you share. With every song that you sing, with every story that you share. That gives us all pride. And you'll see our heads lift up. You'll see our postures begin to show the strength. Have urge. Itu yeti, yitu yeti shekatihad. Hati glasses to you khatangi apa hat the tani siti. You have the strength and the knowledge of our ancestors in you. Yeah.
the work you've done, continue to do for our languages here in Southeast Alaska. We're going to start our next session of oratory presentations. A quick reminder for folks who are presenting, if you'd like someone to stand with you, Corinne James has volunteered to do so, so reach out to her if you would like that extra support. Otherwise, our next presentation is going to be by Casey Lemos.
Man, nothing like hearing your own name before you go up on stage to try it out. Ready? Is that it? Good? Oh. How's that? Anyak Kasani, Kunach Yake at Akhwastini, Yake Ade Hat Yi Dakunia, Junoch Kudziti, Kajuno Yechatiti, Casey Lemos, Ayach Sai. English Kaanushi Khatsiti, Akhta Melody Don Motes Udosop, Kakayesh Cry Raven, Rudy Michael Asteris Jr., Akhishawe, Achawech Inadi Adi, Yaktahitdach, Kukwask, Marley Margie, Ka Rudolph Gomez Asteris Udosop, Akhshich, Achawe, Uknach Adi, Kat Inadi Dachkan Ayachat, Ganach Chinchat Yadi. Ha Kusti Ye Kaguch Sanech, Ayuchatangi, Ha Achie, Ha Chaye, Ha Nagu, Ha Jeshaguni, Ha Chanki, Ha Atu, Cha'a Shakat At. Tlech Ade Dukat Shukwati Ye, Ya Nach Sakwain We, Ka Kuchte Ya Hasnad At, Ka Tu Sukwachi Ha Kusti Ye, Chiu Tlech Owe, Ka Tu Shukwachi Sati, Ach Tu Yeti, Etu Yeti, Ye Jatune, Ikich Uch Gish Sashat, Achaya, Ya Nachsakwain, Ha Dashankia Yan, Kadu Chank Ian, Iguachwan, Atlain Ganash Shish Achat, Ach Eid My message is our ways of life is so much more than this or that, but it's all there, waiting for us to take it. It's within me, it's within you. The snowball has already started, it's already rolling, it's already growing. We're in this together, holding each other up. What I said is, noble people of the land, it's good to look upon your faces, and it's good to see you all gathering. My name is Casey Lee Motes. I was born in Juneau, and I now live in Juneau. I'm English and Russian on my mother's side. My mother's name is Melanie Dawn Motes. My father is Kakayesh Cry Raven, and because of this, I'm a child of the E80 Dog Salmon Raven clan from the Big Dipper House. My grandparents' names are Marley Margie and Rudolph Gomez Asteris. Because of this, I'm a grandchild of the Uknachari and the Raven Coho and the T&80 Dog Salmon Raven clan. Thank you all for coming. My speech translates to our ways of life will heal people, our language, our songs, our foods, our medicine, our tools, our clan opposites, our atu, all of it. Cannot blame it on him or her that I'm just learning it, and they're beginning to go back. that they're beginning to relearn all these things. Breathing life into something that was always there. This is the breath we'll breathe forever. I have it within me. You have it within you. We're working together, holding each other up. This is why I'm just learning this, why I'm learning this now. For our grandchildren and their grandchildren. I said, have strength, have courage, do it all the way. Thank you very much for listening to me. Before I step down, I wanted to apologize because I'm not going to be able to be here for the entire evening, just for some family matters. But thank you to everyone who made this possible, everyone who showed up, and everyone who shared today. For being one of my new teachers. For being another teacher and helping me translate. And to all of those who I borrow words from. Which way?
Stop sweating, all right? Listen to all those words of encouragement. Unfortunately, you have to take off. Thank you, everybody.
Up next, we have Elias Minnick. I'd like to participate.
Is this good?
A little bit closer.
Better? Elias Minnick, you cut those up. German, French, cut city. Something I hear, I cut city, something I hear, I cut city. Kim Champley, you do suck, had Minnick, you do suck, ish. So, yeah, Texas. היה קצתי קצויה איש קוה Indiana קצתי. Hello, my name is Elias Minnick. I'm German and French. I was born and raised here in Juneau. My mother's name is Kim Chantley. My father's name is Pat Minnick. A few months ago, my father told me a story about where he works. He's a para-educator in the TCLL program down in Harborview. But he started when he was growing up. He didn't know any speakers of the language there. He didn't know anyone who knew any speakers. And he later learned that the last speaker of the language there died by the time he had graduated high school. And then, skipping forward a few years to just recently, just before he told me this story, he overheard two co-workers of his at TCLL talking each other in Tlingit. And he said they were just talking about the soup they were having that day. He said that really affected him because it was a casual conversation in the language of the land, but he had never experienced that before. And as I was just taking a class in Tlingit at the time, he wanted to pass that along to me. Keeping in the language is important since so much of the history of the land, the people who have lived here, is tied to that language, those languages. And those languages are hanging by a thread. So much can be lost with if those languages are forgotten, histories. But there is still hope. There is programs, immersion programs, language programs that are teaching the language to elementary schoolers and college students and people of all ages. The language of this land is coming back with help from these programs and from teachers and elders. There's still a ways to go, but there is hope. Protecting and passing along our language to the next generation of speakers, next generation of children, teaching them the history of this land, remembering the names that have been on this land for generations, and working to protect those languages is the next step. Our language that will heal us. Yahweh,
All right, our next presenter is Jacqueline Payton. Whenever you're ready.
Jaya Aldaneki, Anya Kusani, Ak Ishas, Ad Athas, Akaniyan, Cha Uaya Awe, Ashnikas, Aka Latani, Tlingit Stu, the two, Adecha In. Akawanegi Ya Kasnik Danawakede Ha Shade Pashade, Hanexity, Usatiyin. Sits away. What? To ye wuti. What dakanuksu. Away. Akada, akawaguk. Aka, away. Gaji, uaguk. Slinget ani, away ausati. Duyakut wune. Nukde at akas asik. Gunas chish kechat yisawadi. Duga chat dati. Hadukak ye chat dati. Haslichu. Haskaka. Hadatkhani sani. Dach acht. Sachat sati. Shinget Chatsati. Chusin Yuchut Duisak. Suka Adi Chatsati. Kabwantan Yadi. Wushki Tan Dachkan. Yechitach. Like many of you, I can introduce myself in Shinget and my lineage. But as natives, we carry so many other identifiers. Native corporation shareholder, voting citizen, enrolled tribal citizen, and CDIB, enough to hunt marine mammals. Some of these identifiers question, are we enough? As if to say, are we good enough? With blood quantums in contradiction to our cultural values, it attempts to define our nativeness, limiting inclusion and even access to some of the very foods that have sustained our ancestors. 1, 2 generations from now, who will be able to provide seal oil for our elders? Then there are the social norms that are set by society in general. Our youth in survey after survey stated identity, connection to their nativeness, and their native heritage as being the most important thing to them. I think of my mother and so many of her generation who were shipped off to boarding school. That pain and loss of connection and culture is no less than the policies we allow to remain that limit our native identity. We must act on those policies and practices that exclude them. We must act on the unwritten practices that cause pain, from the statements like, "Are you native? You don't look it." Or the feeling of a person who says, "I don't have a native name yet. What's my identity?" We are all native enough. Let our culture and the language be the medicine to heal and to strengthen our souls. Gaklein al kaklein gecha al saka. Hashaka awai chutz. Wudua itach. Dakte nach ish. Kach akawat eik. Yaduchuni ide ad nuj. With kach. To you uaha. Nak dutude. Kadu sachad. If our medicine is our culture and our language, let it inject into our open wounds. Let it be available to everyone. Embrace this trend of inclusion, no judgments cast. In this environment of true trust and respect, an almost elder like me can have the courage to stand up here today and learn Shinget in a class full of smarter, younger brains. Can a young student raised in an environment of a skipped generation feel that they can bridge the gap for the generations to come? If we're going to hold on to our culture and our language, we have to do as our elders told us. Open the box of knowledge. Take yedeth ayana at ani. The lid is very heavy. Together we must hold it. Respect each other. We will succeed together. We are one. Our clinket is like the shell that protects us, like the medicine that keeps us strong, that the words of our ancestors give us strength, so our voices will be heard on our grandfather's land forever. Ye away, hashinket sati, away, hakaf yak adeshi, nukyat yak yati. Hawusnek nak yati. Haguklatlini. Hashaka yukatangi tuadak. Ta'adeye unatika. Akif kuhas ani kak chaklet. My challenge to you is to stand up for inclusion. Stand up for language and for culture. Help us learn the language with us. To my teachers, Hune, Hesheish, Huneoti, and my study group partner, Neila Tolga, and to my grandchildren, my granddaughter who's here today, who all help and inspire my language journey. To all of you.
Up next, we have Doug Juice, Robert Yates.
Welcome, everyone. Now that you're good and tired, it's my turn to speak. My introduction and my story will be all in hot kill with no translation. Aunties and uncles, they have my translation. Trying to make enough room for me so I can turn my pages. I got 9 pages here. Ki tidasa Adala isas Aklan anas digrinai Lagan
Dalam Eis en die Hamilton. Dalam King Sage Dikunan Lagen. Jenny Ida Carl, region. George Carl Dichin region. Ethel Carl Yates, the Owl region. Ralph Tex Yates, the Huna region. Rabbi Tino Dikion, der Jus is Genhuya Hadas, Inuhat Kif Dikion. Die Uhatagen, die Jalagen, die Yatlin Gagen. Whose nest is gen nest us Egen. San, Jill, Plastan, Hasiu Egen. Die Teach Jalagan. Ja, die Cholang Sinaila, Slawichen, Dagi Diagai, Dagi Sujugan, Ikwan, Ho Tlaska, Kien Kankadamakan. Dagi Sujugan, Ikwan, Ho Uhats Junkan. Sling White Lagai Katskatla, Dagi Kukungan. Slovakian Ace and Dagi Hanilgan, Slovakian Dagi Gulagan, Slovakian Dagi Stojugan. Ken Place to Mexico Tlagai, Dekatiagai, Alaska, Mount Algan. Wadlu Dagi is Kenla, Mexico's Mount Algan. Dan Susala, Ami Hinu, Dagi Aukion. Tiakir, Dagi is Ken Ami, and Sanjukin. And Sanjudaik Kilgunga. Nectar Guys and Dagi is Ken Ami, Nilgan. Dagi is Ken Ami, Hanchu Gulagan. Dagi Stugan. How di Quiada, di au di Quiada. Ken Wadlawan Ace, di Kaltla Eden. Di Hadjukentlu, Kankwadan di au Udi Kinkin. Di Hadjukentlu, Quias di au di Kinkin. Di au Skatapkin. Klinganu, gu Quiatu. Klingan, Hingastu, Schleitu. Quiadigai, Gen Iwan, Uijan. Kankwadan, Gen Iwan, Uijan. Yankian Hilau, Ijan. Dagan Gen Singatsklu, Kadagan Tlatskaran. Please Tluan, Ami Sugan. Di Tolan, Kingasan. Di Kudinai, Stigan, Dagi Sugan, Ami Sugan. Yada, Da Kuk at Unset. Hinganshu Yada, Da Viesla. Wadu, Haidwai Ami Kaiman. Wadu Sanskam Dagi Usugan. O Salana, Hugan Sudas Kaspat Dina Gudam. Gapin Klinkwig Agan Klaspaslanga Kengagan Angan. Kiakid, the Gudinai Heat Hits Blue, the Gudinai Klatska. Who gives estas digas flight? The mouth is D.A. Anam. How a salama. Asenquays flu aguia dagi hiden. Hilaihana dagi gula auyakan. Tlagai kesketla dagi islagen. Huya hadas san islagen. Kunch ka ai. Tlagai atlahugu o kajke awan. Dagi huya hadas kingen. Dagi huya hadas hatlagen. La huya hadas hiden. Dagi killa huya hadas sugen. Huya hadas singai la dagi sugen. Waglu dagi kusangen. Huya das sugen. Dagui di kustrangen. Da kusans eis. Hildanak is dasan. Huya hadas hilen. Hilai kinstagen. Huya hadas stilgen. Daki hilai nis. Huya hadas sugen. Dagi sugen. Akunspasam. How Huya hadas sugen. Aji sali. Damanagas king. Dan susala. Sanudan kian. Kiji sudan ijan. Dagi sugen. Dagi hinadikian. Mexico's kut ijan. Tlagai keskat ijan. Sanudans kian. Kiji studans ijan. Huya hadas sugen. Huya hadas hinadikian. How tlagai stud ijan. How tlagai eslusnagen. Askai uginla dan king san. Gudi talan kwangan. Ik kayas ik in kwan sugen. Awashlu ik kunis ikuyas gudakslan na angini. In wadruan tlaquagidan. The man guda tla antoine. Akun itlana kilau yakias kien kakodana hidan. In dalan was blue dalan lasan. Sanan ash kilagan. Outlan gasinai hidan hawau. My message to share is this. Our precious elders who have gone on before us taught us patience, love, to be resilient, kindness, and respect. We miss our elders so much. We love their quiet strength and their peace. They were great pillars of our communities. Our traditional values of respect, love, kindness, helping each other, holding each other up. That's our medicine, and it is truly healing. Powerful.
Victoria Keelan, Victoria McCoy, who I believe is joining us on Zoom.
Lugulandoy ako ani taku ani das ali Shemaya Bon Tiven Duwayo Ganhada Divo Volksku Ada Gitishkan Divo Zolku Alice Modig Ligi Hannibal Nanoy Ada Reggie Nathan Naguadu Ada Sarah Peel Nzietu Ada Matthew Cook Niayu Lubandoichan Ani Ada Taku Ani for allowing me to speak Shemaya on your land. My Tsimshian name is Godum Tivan. It translates to Heart of a Sea Lion. I was given the name at my grandmother Sarah Peel's memorial lukat. My brothers and sisters gave me this name. They said that I appeared shy, but I went straight for my target. My mother's English name is Alice Modig. Her Shemaya name is Halimok. It translates to the one that saved us. My father's name is Reggie Nathan from Heidelberg. I'm the granddaughter of Sarah Peel from Kisan and the granddaughter of Matthew Cook from Yakima Nation. Luangodu, Shulakshu Shemalia, Madig, Ada Shugaina, Ada Athlidao, Ligino, Ada Shagob, Ada Hokius, Ada Santoru Newsome, Ada Dakish Nancy. Luandoiction to my teachers at taught me Shemalia, Madig, Dach, Zach, Madig Gibgoth. Madig passed away last year. Lubo Wigagano, I really miss him. Shugaina, Lady Doname, teaches our Shemaya classes for the university. She also created our dictionary of the Alaskan orthography with our elders from Taquan. Athlidao, Ligi Terryburg, it's like my mother, and I apprenticed under her for 7 or 8 years. She really taught me how to uphold myself as a Tsimshian woman. Shigol, the wave maker. Shigol has been working with us twice a week on immersion sessions, teaching us the Shemaya language during our lunch breaks. We speak for an hour in Shemaya on Tuesday and Thursday. When he learned that we got into the Pathways program, he said, I have your back. And he hasn't let us down since. Lugo Direction, Shigol. Shigol also holds 3-hour classes on Saturday. He's been doing that for about seven years now. Lugo Direction, Shigol. Hokiums has been working with me in the Pathways program. He's really taught me how to hold people up when they're going through a hard time. Addison Photo Newsome. Licky Dr. Maciel and Dr. Nancy. Lugo Direction to all my teachers. The Methu, Limi, Skumatika. I want to share a song with you. This is the song of the baby mountain goat, Skumatika. Ligi, the Tsimshian lullaby. My mother sang the song to me as I was growing up. I sing the song to my granddaughter. My grandmother used to sing a song to all her grandchildren as well. So this song has, I sing the song to my daughters. The song has passed through generations and generations. So I want to share the song with you. I was told by my elder, Gertie Johnson, this song belongs to the Raven clan. The song begins, Nashan di Skausku. Who is the little sister? Who is the little sister? Skumatika, Skumatika, of this little land, of this little land. Gandhi with Yetta, Gandhi with Yetta, walking around, walking around. Shpai, Aikait, Shkanish, Shpai, Kait, Shkanish, among the mountains, among the mountains. Nathan Dikwaeth, Nathan Dikwaeth, Nathan Dikwaeth. Who is the sister? Who is the sister? Who is the sister? The song also can be sung for a little brother. Our word what is for male to male, and really only males are supposed to say it to each other, because I was taught by Nadeed, he gave me permission to say what's. So you can say Nashan di what's, who is the brother? Nashan di what's, who is the brother? Skumatika, Skumatika, of this little land. Gandhi with Yetta, Gandhi with Yetta, walking around. Shpai, Aikait, Shkanish, Shpai, Aikait, Shkanish, among the mountains. Anathan Dikwaeth, Anathan Dikwaeth, Anathan Dikwaeth. Who is the brother? Who is the brother? Who is the brother? Baiwa. I was also taught by my teachers that when we say a, oh, we're saying sing or swing at the end of the Skumatika. The message that I want to bring today is that all of our languages are in really critical condition. To all, everybody working on language, Shinget Haiken, stand strong, Shinget Haiken, stand strong, Shinget Haiken, stand strong. Last year in October, I lost my elder. He was 99 years old. He spent many years teaching me the Shania language. I would go up to his apartment and we would sit together for a couple hours at a time. When we first started meeting, I couldn't understand him. And then as the years went by, him and I can talk for an hour and a half. I really miss him. So everybody stand strong, continue working on your languages. Lugo and Deutschen. Shinket Heiken.
next we have Koskatine, June Gregory.
Thank you, Nick. Aunties and uncles. Congratulations. I know who's all the aunties and uncles touching me, please. Congratulations. Hello. Like Satini. Chade, Poye, Kakach, Yu, Sayach, Yut, Uchichi, Shia, Utenefi, Kaanyat Kusani. Gilish Chisha Iadi, Yik Ewe, Yia Awashkeni, Ach Tuasi Gishkach Benage. Paskatina ya Achsai, Gaika Kainach, Jilin Gregory, Khatevasaksu. Kanach Mudu'a, Christina Jidbalu, Dursak Akfa. Wishdach Katla, Edwina White, Yuduasak Achli. Uthlik Julia Marvin, Yuduasagan, Achli Plain. Kanakawu away Uhan. Yanwasha Ayachat, Kawantana Chatzati. Kukhet Dach, Deshitanya Diayachat. Filipino Dutch Khan Kwa Dakdintan Juditan Akhla Ish Junoch Yeti. Thank you, it's good to see you all. My Tlingit name is Koskatine. My English name is June Gregory. I was born and raised here in Juneau, and today I'm just going to share how our way of life has impacted my own life and my language journey and healing journey. And so I was born and raised here in Juneau. I went to Zit Itinach. I believe is the new name for Glacier Valley Elementary School, and I felt like one of the only natives really there, and lucky enough I had Nakifan, Mr. Chester, as my second grade teacher, and if it wasn't for him, I'm not sure I would have kept any of my native identity going to that school. And later I went to Floyd Garden Middle School, and I was lucky enough to have one teacher who did like a after-school culture club reading program, and that was the most I ever saw in my middle school time involving my language and culture. But in high school, it was definitely a lot better for me. I actually ended up going to all 3 high schools and almost didn't even finish. I got to take Tlingit with Florence Mark Shipley at Thunder Mountain and at Juneau Douglas, and then I ended up actually graduating from Yakusuke Dakihiri Alternative High School. So if you don't know much about that high school, it's usually, the students who end up there usually have a harder time in like the normal setup, main style of learning in Western style, and so the difference about Yakusuke Dakihiri is much smaller and much bigger focus on your mental well-being and being able to take things at your own pace. And so that was definitely something I needed because I definitely almost didn't even finish school. And so without the support that I had at Yakusuke Dakihiri and realizing that I'm not a bad learner, I just learn in a very different way, I wouldn't be here without them. So after I graduated high school, I actually, because of Yakusuke Dakihiri, I graduated a semester early, and then I got to just kind of vibe out and do what I wanted after I graduated. And so I actually worked right across the street at Trickster Company, and Ricardo was my manager up until probably about just before COVID. I had a new manager take over, but then once COVID hit, we actually had to close shop and we were let go. I did make it on my own maybe for about 2 months during COVID, but then I had to end up moving back in with my mom, and they had just around that same time announced this scholarship program, Hayakatani Dei, Language Pathways, and my old manager, my uncle Ricardo, ended up sending me the link and said, you should apply to this, it's a full ride, to learn language, it's something you already love to do, and it's something you're good at. So I applied, I got it, and so far my life has been so much better since, because it's definitely been the biggest part of my healing to have my language and culture be a part of it. Just because growing up in Juneau as what felt like one of the few natives, it was always hard to be able to embrace that identity and love who you are for that. Last summer,
this past summer, I got to live in Huna with my sister and her babies, and I got to do my internship online, and it was pretty great. My sister helped me get my own ESA, emotional support animal, who I trained in Tlingit Yucatami. My dog only listens to Tlingit. And so it's pretty good to be able to just kind of reconnect on my homelands there with my family. But then when the semester was getting ready to start up and I was packing up and my sister had work and I was dropped off basically an hour early to the ferry terminal, and it was a nice day though, so I didn't mind. I just sat and played fetch with my dog in the big old fenced area waiting for the ferry. But then it wasn't until after I got my dog on the car deck, put all of my stuff on the ferry truck, the luggage truck it wasn't until then and I went and sat down in the TV room up on the ferry that I realized I was on my way on my own now. Like, I felt so alone, and it hit me that I didn't have my sister there, who was my security blanket. Andrea, that was my security blanket. I didn't have her with me, and I just started bawling on the way as soon as we left. But I don't know if you guys know how it is on the ferries. When people come in, they come and throw their stuff down in the TV room or whatever, and then go to the cafeteria, go say hi to everybody. And so I didn't see who was sitting in front of me, the row in front of me, for the probably first half hour or so we were going. And after I was crying, and there was a couple of workers who had stopped by to check on me, I'm a little booty tickled about the fact that it was only a Filipino cook, and out of, I don't even know how many people walked past me, only a Filipino cook, and I believe a mechanic, I don't even know, but like only 2 people came to check, were like, are you okay, do you need anything? And they brought me a cup of water, and I just sat there and tried to catch my breath, calm down. And it was such a pretty day, so while I was doing that, I just decided to sit and look out the window, and while I was just, recentering myself, I realized there was a pod of porpoise coming up, and they were just all dancing, and like each little emergent, I could just, every time they emerged, I felt like I realized I'm not alone, because if you don't know, porpoise is a Chukanadi crest, and the 4 clans in Huna, even though they're separate clans, they're all very closely tied, and so it was really good to realize that the Chukanadi were there to hold me up, because after I saw the porpoise, the 3 in front of me came and sat back down, and it turned out to be my auntie Heather Powell and her 3 babies, who are Chukanadi, and so she ended up just talking me through catching up, saying, you got this, babe, like, the semester's gonna be great, and, she gave me snacks, and just, the baby did not care that I was going through it. He was just climbing all over me, like he had to get rid of stuff. But, so my main message for everybody is that we are the thing, we are Tlingit, and that no matter what, we're never alone. Our ancestors are here to hold us up and guide us. Cheers.
Our next presenter is Gustahin Ricardo Worm, Equal Help.
Ricardo World. Kagwantan Katsiti. Kuna kawu awe uhan. Kukhet ayat nakahidi. Ach ishas shabukedi. Asif kahas takdentan. Asif kahas sukach adi. Asif kahas Filipino. Takdentan aya akta kanuku. Ch'aye yigawat thou achji yite. Ch'ade hoye chat chagach yi'u. Ch'ayach yu chichi. Slingech tu chastu. Yagao achtuasigu hunach dak as Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian, we have been blessed with immense richness of culture, language, community, art, spirituality, character, and land. Our grandparents gifted us a unique relationship with Ha'ani. Our rightful title and stewardship of Ha'ani, developed through a strong relationship, has provided us with everything we need and more. Shelter, delicious foods, transportation, elegant clothing and regalia, resources and inspiration for our beautiful art, and the very foundation of our identity. Yet, it is no secret that Ha'ani is being threatened by people and systems who wish to exploit the once bountiful resources. Our ancestors sustainably managed the resources of Ha'ani since time immemorial. However, over the course of these past few generations, our once abundant resources have been pushed to or beyond their limits. The Western prioritization of commercial fisheries, canneries, and profit has decimated the balance of our ecosystems. Take, for example, Kak and Yao. At this time of year, the Yao Kwani used to visit all of our lands and communities. But due to the mismanagement by Fish and Game, the Yao Kwani are now at the brink of collapse. Shipka and Prince of Wales are among the only viable remaining communities for Yao and Gao. Another threat to our subsistence ways of life are the harsh restrictions that wrongfully define who is native. Antiquated laws such as the 1972 Marine Mammal Protection Act are preventing us from perpetuating our ways of tsa and yaksh hunting. These laws define native through blood quantum. They falsely posit our identity in percentages of blood. Make no mistake, these restrictive laws are working exactly as planned. with the cultural genocide of Ha'kusteyi along with Ha'ani. I've had the privilege of working in our summer cultural camps with our children the past few summers. As both the previous participant, teacher, and coach, I have seen fewer and fewer of our children who know how to hunt, fish, and gather. As Achiv Kus'in once asked me, if our kids do not learn, who will feed the elders? Who will solve this problem? Ye pati, ha'kusteyi ha'sriv kohas has ausenech. Our ancestors worked to provide us with the tools we need, not just to survive, but to thrive. The current system sees Ha'ani and its resources as simply a commodity to be exploited. Ha'kusteyi seeks to foster a relationship that sustains Ha'ani for those yet to come. Continuing to fight for our subsistence rights will ensure that future generations will still have access to our resources. Working to change these restrictive laws based on blood quantum will ensure our children can join us in relearning. Redefining native through lineal descent, culture, and connection to Ha'ani will secure this. And lastly, we must create more opportunities to perpetuate this knowledge for our children. Just as we teach our language and art, so too we shall teach our ways of subsistence. My aunties and uncles are teaching me. I hope to teach my nieces and nephews. So, gunas chish to all the groups who keep fighting to ensure the survival and perpetuation of Ha'kusteyi. We implore you to keep fighting for our future generations. Igwayakwan, Haji es ede, Shilduatan, Asrif Kahas. Achtu Yakin, Ye Aya Achtu Yati, Khune Awapa, Adachkanki Sani Kagei Yes, Uch In, Ye Jagaf Tune, Kusakhan, Katusa Ante, Gunas Chish. Tough crowd, huh?
At this time, this concludes the live stream portion of our event. So congratulations to everybody who has presented so far and all of our orators. You all are so precious and valued. And I want to thank you and to everybody who tuned in today to watch. And so we're now going to transition to the non-live stream portion of our event. So everybody who's watching online, we'll see you next year. And for everybody